I was a creature from a forgotten Earth, thrust into a universe of alphas, betas, and omegas. I lacked the pheromonal gland that defined them, a ghost in a world of scent. They called me a monster. In the Federation's 6th district, a sprawling underbelly of rust and decay, survival itself was an extravagance. So for 3 million CRS, I sold myself to the Sterling family. They grafted a synthetic gland into my flesh, one calibrated for an 80% pheromonal match with Liam Vance. I was then married to him, the Federation's most celebrated and feared military commander. Our union was a contract, a deception, a construct of everything vile. His contempt for me was not only expected, it was deserved. When an Omega with a 95% match to his pheromones emerged, I understood my role was complete. It was time for me to vanish. Liam found me on the sofa, engrossed in a textbook on mech diagnostics, when he returned home. He noticed the small lamp glowing in the living room, a soft beacon in the otherwise dark house. A strange warmth, something akin to excitement, stirred within him. He brushed his hand through my hair before lifting me effortlessly into his arms and carrying me to the bedroom. As he leaned in to kiss me, the faint, sharp scent of bourbon met my nose. He had been drinking. At only 28, Liam was the youngest Major General in the Federation's history, its sole Class S Prime Alpha. His face was a mask of discipline, rarely betraying emotion. Only alcohol or moments like this could coax a flicker of feeling to the surface. A trail of delicate kisses traced a path down my skin. His fingers kneaded the artificial gland at the nape of my neck, the calluses from his years of gripping a sidearm scraping painfully against my skin. In the haze of passion, he leaned close, his voice a low whisper against her ear, telling her how sweet she smelled. His large hands caressed the red marks blooming on my body, murmuring that my pheromones were like roses, that everything about me was roses. For a fleeting second, clarity pierced through the fog in my mind. Then, I silenced his words with a kiss of my own, surrendering to the illusion. The truth was, I could smell nothing. Not the synthetic rose scent clinging to my skin, nor the fabled evergreen and winter air of his own pheromones. My husband, after 3 years of marriage, remained oblivious. When I awoke, the space beside me was cold and empty. It was already 10 in the morning. Liam had been relentless the night before. I vaguely remembered him mentioning his pre-surge was approaching, me to prepare myself. Leaving the master bedroom, I walked to the guest room at the end of the hall. It was where I had first lived after marrying him. After one particularly brutal surge, he had held me close, refusing to let me drag my exhausted body back to the separate room. He began carrying me to his bed more frequently, until I simply stopped leaving. But many of my personal things remained in that old room, a space he never so much as glanced at. From the deepest drawer, I retrieved a small vial of pills and swallowed them without a change in expression. The maid, seeing I was awake, had arranged a delicate breakfast on the dining table. A note sat beside the plate, Liam's handwriting a series of strong, decisive strokes. He told me to rest well and that my parents were coming to see me that evening. I checked my terminal and confirmed it with a new message from my nominal brother on this planet, Julian Sterling. He informed me that his gland transplant was a success, boasting a compatibility of 95% with General Vance. My own was a mere 80. The maid remarked on how devoted the general was, assuming my pause was due to the note. I offered a thin smile. My delivery to Liam by the Sterling family had always been a transaction. What Liam didn't know was that the transaction itself was steeped in deceit. Everything I had was stolen, a lie. The rare moments of warmth he showed me were nothing more than a chemical reaction, a trick of this absurd Alpha-Omega world. I had no doubt that, without the influence of that 80% match, he would find me utterly contemptible, a woman who would sell her body for money and power, no different from the rest of the Sterlings. But a man like Liam, born to privilege, could never comprehend that for some, the simple act of breathing is a luxury. A Class S prime alpha's pheromones were unique, making it nearly impossible for Liam to find a suitable omega. The highest match ever found before me was a paltry 30%, completely inadequate for soothing the violent hormonal storm of the surge. This meant Liam had endured every cycle by injecting himself with dangerous amounts of suppressants. 2 years ago, the Federation's border was not the peaceful zone it was now. The Akan Coalition, 15 light-years away, launched frequent incursions. Liam led the Federation forces, but after being gravely wounded and falling into a coma, his medical report was forcibly submitted by the military doctors. If his pheromonal imbalance could not be stabilized, his body would no longer withstand the rigors of combat. It was then that the Sterling family presented me. Liam had pointed at me, his voice dripping with scorn, asking if the Sterlings were so desperate to align with the military that they would marry their own daughter to a stranger. My father, Elias Sterling, had just bowed his head and smiled obsequiously, addressing Liam with fawning respect. I thought to myself that even a real daughter was no match for ambition, let alone a fabricated one. But we all knew that as much as Liam detested the Sterling family's maneuvering, he could not refuse the offer. Yes, our marriage was a business deal. There was no ceremony, no well wishes. The wedding ring was something Elias had purchased and instructed me to give to Liam. I never saw him wear it. The moment the marriage certificate was stamped, we were legally bound. Liam funneled considerable resources to the Sterling family, allowing their Starfreighter maintenance business in District 3 to expand into District 2, even branching into component manufacturing. In return, Liam marked me that very night. His canines sank into the back of my neck, his body pressing down on me. I felt none of the legendary pleasure the gland was supposed to provide. I smelled none of the fur and cold mountain air that the entire Federation swooned over. All I registered was the searing pain at my nape. Pain and more pain. When it was over, I cleaned myself with a tissue and dragged my aching body back to the guest room. The very next day, Liam returned to the front lines. But I had survived. I had another chance to live. 2 years passed. The Sterling family, buoyed by Liam's military and political influence, became a dominant force in District 3. No one in District 2 dared to openly mock them as new money anymore. Aside from their occasional digital messages to keep me in line, they never visited me in District 1. Thinking of Julian's message, I had a good idea of their purpose for this visit. That evening, Liam came home unusually early. I tried to continue reading, but he kept interrupting with trivial questions. Finally, he rested a hand on mine. "Alara," he said, "you don't need to be nervous. I'm here. The Sterlings won't dare to do anything to you." He rarely initiated physical contact outside of the bedroom and seemed almost uncomfortable with the gesture himself. I found it amusing. What was he worried about? Had he forgotten that I was one of them? A moment later, his expression became serious again. He told me that next week, he had something important to discuss. I wondered if he already knew about the higher-matched Omega. But then I dismissed the thought. If that were the case, we would likely already be on our way to file for divorce. Before I could speculate further, the doorbell rang. Elias Sterling, his wife, and their son Julian stood on the doorstep, dressed impeccably and laden with gifts. Julian, in particular, was the picture of a perfectly groomed Omega. He wore an exquisite silk shirt under a velvet, high-collared jacket, his face subtly enhanced with makeup. He was the perfect image of a cherished, upper-class Omega. Upon seeing Liam, Julian blushed and greeted him as Mr. Vance. Liam gave a curt, emotionless nod. At the dinner table, Elias endlessly thanked Liam for his patronage, then cautiously brought up the Starship manufacturing sector in District 2. Liam remained stone-faced, not touching the wine Elias was eagerly pouring for himself. He didn't even make a symbolic gesture of raising his glass. "I'll have someone contact you about the District 2 matter," Liam stated coldly. "In the future, don't come to our home unless it's necessary." Elias's face was a fascinating mix of embarrassment and elation. He raised his glass to hide his expression, stammering out a hasty excuse. He thanked the general again, adding his gratitude for how well Liam had taken care of me. To my surprise, Liam grunted in acknowledgement and took a small sip from his own glass. Elias was ecstatic. Seizing the opportunity, he finally revealed their true purpose. He explained that his son, Julian, was preparing for the Federal Unified Entrance exam and asked if he could possibly stay with us for a couple of weeks, perhaps benefiting from the general's guidance. "I can arrange for him to stay at the finest interstellar hotel in District 1, or in one of my other properties," Liam countered. "I don't want outsiders living in our house. How can a brother be an outsider?" I interjected with a smile, setting down the chopsticks I'd been using to pick bones from Liam's fish. Under the table, my hand patted his thigh. It was clear now why the Sterlings hadn't directly revealed Julian's 95% match. The odds of an adult Omega's pheromones suddenly changing were infinitesimally small. Even claiming a secondary designation wouldn't hold up to scrutiny. They were planning to create a situation that couldn't be undone. Once a formal marking occurred, driven by a 95% compatibility, any inconsistencies would surely be overlooked by a pheromone-driven alpha. Although my 3-year contract with the Sterlings wasn't yet up, this seemed like the perfect time for me to make my exit. Beneath the table, Liam's hand found mine. He wove his fingers through mine, linking our hands together tightly. "No," he repeated. I looked at him. "Honey," I said, the word feeling foreign and sharp on my tongue. It was the first time I had ever called him that. It was a reminder. Our marriage was a transaction. I fulfilled his needs, so a small request from the Sterling family should be granted in return. Liam's eyes, dark and intense, were fixed on me. I felt a flicker of fear, wondering if I had overplayed my hand, if I had mistaken his recent physical proximity for actual leverage. After a long, tense moment, he gave a stiff, arrogant nod. "I will have a room prepared for him on the 3rd floor," he conceded. "He can direct any questions to the butler. He is not to disturb Alara." Julian shot me a triumphant glare. After a flood of thanks from his parents, he moved in with undisguised glee. The consequence for me was a night spent trembling in the bedroom as Liam took out his frustrations on my body. He seemed to be punishing me for challenging him at the dinner table, forcing me to call him honey again and again. When involuntary tears streamed down my face and my cries became ragged, he whispered maliciously in my ear that I shouldn't be so loud, that my brother was just upstairs. Later, when I was too exhausted to even lift a finger, he carried me into the bathroom and used the pretense of washing me to continue his torment. I drifted into an uneasy sleep, only to be jolted awake by a chaotic dream. Liam was sleeping soundly beside me, his body radiating heat, his arms holding me tightly even in his slumber. I recalled how, in the early days of our marriage, the slightest noise would wake him. I had assumed it was a soldier's habit. Now he slept like the dead. Tiptoeing into the living room for a glass of water, I was stopped by an angry hiss from behind me. You despicable creature, Elara Sterling. Don't tell me you've actually developed feelings for the general these past 2 years. Julian's eyes were wide as he pointed at the red marks visible beyond the collar of my robe. I took a sip of water, but my voice was still hoarse when I spoke. He had come, so naturally I would leave. I just reminded him that the 3 million CRS the Sterlings promised me were non-negotiable. You're still the same money-grubbing gutter snipe from District 6, he sneered, his tone shifting to a venomous sort of sweetness. Someone like you is utterly unworthy of being the Major General's wife. Besides, he added, you're a freak born without a gland. If it weren't for the Sterling family, you would have been sold off for sport to some pervert in the slums by now. Memories of District 6 made my fists clench. He wasn't wrong. To them, I was a monster, because I was never from this world to begin with. My name is Elara. I was once a human from Earth. I was hit by a truck running a red light while delivering food. I woke up on a colossal garbage heap, the sour stench of decay strangely familiar. I had spent my childhood around trash, but I quickly realized this was not a place I knew. I had crossed over to a place called the Cygnus Federation. Here, people were divided into Alpha, Beta, and Omega in addition to male and female. Alphas and Omegas possessed something called pheromones, which caused a powerful mutual attraction. They were further classified by strength into S, A, B, C, and D levels. Alphas were physically superior and considered natural leaders. Omegas were seen as artistically inclined. AO pairings were the societal ideal. The most numerous betas filled the majority of ordinary jobs. And then there was me, less than a beta. I had no gland. The landfill where I awoke was in District 6, the lowest tier of the Federation. The Federation was split into the upper 3 and lower 3 districts. District 1 housed royalty, nobility, and the military political elite. District 6, my district, was home to the dregs of society. The poor, the criminal, and refugees fleeing war or debt. There was no formal economy, only a system reliant on salvage and black markets. Pollution was rampant. Water was scarce. Food and drinkable water had to be earned through hard labor or illegal means. The junkyard was the district's economic heart, a mountain of refuse from the upper 3, which for the people of 6, was their only source of survival. I once thought my lack of a gland was a blessing, especially after witnessing a D-class Omega forcibly marked by a thug, only to fall madly in love with him due to pheromonal dependency, even bearing his child. Then, one day, as I was hauling scrap to a recycling station for Circe, a burly man with a scar across his eye grabbed me by the throat. He sneered that I was a dirty but pretty beta, someone he could play with without consequences. Suddenly, his eyes lit up with a strange excitement. "Ha! You have no gland," he exclaimed, his face glowing with a perverse glee. "Not even a shriveled beta one. Whether I sell you to the psychodocs in 6 or that crew that likes new toys, I'll make a fortune." I took advantage of his distraction, kicking him hard between the legs. Then I ran. I ran and I hid, surviving by scavenging leftovers from trash cans. I became more cautious, wrapping a tattered cloth around my neck to hide my secret. I eventually found a shack where an old man repaired discarded electronics. I traded my skills learned on Earth for food. The owner, a grumpy middle-aged beta, was reluctant to keep me, but I was cheap. 2 bread rolls a day was all it took for me to silently fix every broken gadget he had. He tossed a ragged straw mat for me outside the shack, and that became my home. I was grateful to be alive again, but my peace was short-lived. News spread through District 6, causing a stir. The renowned war god of the Federation, Major General Liam Vance, had proposed a population census and redevelopment plan for the district in the council. For the ordinary poor, this was good news. For me, an undocumented monster from Earth with no gland, it was a death sentence. Fleets of military ships from District 1 descended on District 6. Men and women in pristine uniforms looked jarringly out of place. They brought food, medical supplies, and advanced technology. They also brought me despair. A civilian mech landed outside the repair shop, and its owner, a B-class alpha from District 3 named Alex, couldn't figure out why it wouldn't start. It was the first time I had ever seen a mech up close. I asked the shop owner if I could try, offering to fix it for a fee. He looked at me with contempt, scoffing that I was just looking for money to run again, that he knew I was afraid of the military, a rat scurrying from hole to hole. Alex, however, just smiled. "If you can fix it," he said, "I'll give you 10,000 CRS. In District 6, you couldn't earn that much in 5 years of scavenging." Drawing on my knowledge from Earth, I tinkered with the mech's ignition system, swapping out some materials. It roared to life. Alex was impressed and handed me a case of CRS. I gathered my few meager belongings, preparing to flee again. In just a few days, the military from District 1 had permeated every corner of 6. I didn't know how long I could run, how long I could live. But I didn't want to die. Just then, a strong gust of wind blew past, exposing the back of my neck to Alex. I frantically covered it and tried to run, but he called out to me. A strange light gleamed in his eyes. He asked if I was interested in a deal, one that could give me a legal identity and a lot of money. I later learned Alex was an aide to Elias Sterling. He had come to District 6 to find an expendable test subject, someone who wouldn't be missed if they disappeared. And so, I was implanted with a synthetic omega gland with an 80% match to Liam Vance's pheromones, becoming the long-lost, illegitimate daughter of the Sterling family, finally found. My only wish had ever been simple, to live. So, no matter how excruciating the implant surgery, no matter how violent the rejection symptoms, I endured it. Liam's coldness after the marriage and the scorn of his friends and family were all within my expectations. Julian's taunts after moving in, therefore, had no effect on me whatsoever. Carter, the son of a major merchant family allied with the Vances, came to visit. Julian, dressed to the nines, had prepared an elaborate bone and pepper soup, looking more like the other Omega of the house than I did. Carter lounged on the sofa, his eyes raking over Julian. Then he leaned close to my ear, his voice a mocking whisper. He taunted me that for all my scheming to become Mrs. Vance, it was all coming to nothing. He'd heard a higher-matched Omega had already appeared in the system. I remained silent. He continued, his tone turning lewd, suggesting I must be good in bed to have lasted so long in the main house, and that Liam's temper had reportedly improved since the marriage. He chuckled, offering to take me in for a while after Liam was done with me, saying he'd never had a divorced woman before. "Why don't you say that directly to Liam?" I suggested calmly. Carter would dare to humiliate me, but saying such things to Liam would be an insult to the general himself. He flushed with anger, as expected. He spat that I was nothing, that everyone in District 1 knew I was just a piece of merchandise the Sterlings used for a deal. He claimed Liam hated being manipulated more than anything, and that to him I was just a tool for managing his condition. "Carter, what are you saying to your sister-in-law, getting so close?" Liam had just finished a cross-galaxy conference call and entered the room. Julian immediately scurried over to help him with his coat. Liam sidestepped him with a frown and a long stride. "Liam," Carter began, gesturing between me and Julian, "the Sterling family has some nerve. One manufacturing line in District 2 isn't enough for them. They want to hitch every Omega in their family to your wagon. Get out." Liam kicked Carter over, releasing a wave of his Class S prime alpha pressure that made both Carter and Julian tremble. "The land parcel in District 1 your family wanted to discuss with me? The deal is off." Liam's combat boot pressed down on Carter's chest. "Let me hear you say anything like that again, and I'll have your grandfather come apologize to my wife on your behalf." Liam turned to me, asking if anyone else had ever spoken to me so disrespectfully, and why I hadn't told him. I didn't want to get into it, so I simply stepped into his arms and kissed him. As expected, he didn't press the issue. Carter's words were nothing. I had heard far worse. Besides, Liam seemed to have forgotten that at the beginning of our marriage, he had said the same things about me. A transaction, a tool, shameless, a social climber. Everyone in District 1 could step on me because they knew I meant nothing to Liam. I was not a suitable high society Omega, nor was I the object of his genuine affection. How could Liam, a man desired even by the royal princess, marry the illegitimate daughter of a District 3 family? Liam pulled me tight against his broad chest, his hand enclosing mine. I asked him if he knew about the Omega with a 95% match that had appeared in the system. He grunted in affirmation but said nothing more. It seemed everyone was prepared. A sense of relief washed over me, but I couldn't ignore a faint ache in my chest. You can get attached to a dog after 2 years, and Liam had given me what was nominally my first home in this world. But I knew it was all an illusion, no match for the biological imperative of a higher pheromonal compatibility. An image of the application form I had filled out last month flashed through my mind, and that flicker of strange emotion vanished. Liam kissed my forehead, reminding me again that he had something important to tell me next week. I gave a distracted reply. Liam's surge arrived. He called me on the terminal, telling me he was waiting for me at another villa in the city. I forwarded the address to Julian, took the money the Sterlings had provided, and left District 1. I blocked everyone's contact information and modified my terminal's tracking device. Alone, I boarded a star freighter to District 4. I brought nothing with me but a case full of CRS. With his 95% pheromonal match, Julian would surely be able to soothe Liam's surge. Once Liam found this more effective tool, I would quickly fade from his memory. I left a signed divorce agreement on his desk, requiring only his signature to become effective. My life experiences had not made me a soft person, and I struggled to appear presentable in front of Liam's friends and family. Julian, at least, had been raised as a proper Omega and would know how to please an Alpha. Besides, Liam was not entirely incapable of tenderness. My hand bumped against the ship's seat, and with a start, I realized I had forgotten to take off the wedding ring. I was about to toss it out the window, but for some reason, I hesitated. I tucked it into an outer pocket of my case. It might be worth something one day. As the ship sped away, I had no idea that District 1 was descending into chaos. In District 4, I rented a small apartment and studied from dawn till dusk, preparing for the upcoming Federal Unified Entrance exam. I had never taken a college entrance exam on Earth, so I was both nervous and excited. I hadn't seen any news about Liam and Julian's wedding. It struck me as odd, but I reasoned that a Vance wedding would require extensive preparation. Besides, this was District 4, a world away from the concerns of the elite. District 4 was the backbone of the Federation's economy, a hub of manufacturing and low-end tech support. For me, life here was safe and familiar. After the exam, once everything settled down, I planned to have the synthetic Omega gland removed. A lovesick Omega, so heartbroken by a divorce that she had her gland excised. It seemed a plausible enough story. Then I could finally go back to being a Lara, the closest thing to a human from Earth. I never expected to see Liam again. Walking out of the examination hall, I felt a sense of elation. I had reviewed most of the questions, but I quickly realized something was wrong. The normally cheerful and bustling crowd of students was eerily quiet, whispering amongst themselves. A sense of foreboding hung in the air. Then I saw the line of AHT-42 Python military vehicles parked outside. My breath hitched, and I tried to slip out through a back exit, but a shadow fell over me. Liam's hand clamped down on my shoulder, forcing me to face him. He loomed over me, an aura of suppressed fury radiating from him. "Do you have any idea what I've been through these past few days?" he asked, his voice low and dangerous. His grip was painfully tight, but I tried to keep my voice steady. "I'm sorry, Major General, but we're divorced." "You should be divorced?" he interrupted with a cold laugh. "Did I agree to it?" He pulled the divorce agreement from his coat pocket and tore it to shreds before my eyes. He grabbed my chin, forcing me to look at him. "Mrs. Vance," he snarled, each word a hammer blow. "What exactly was going through your mind when you sent another Omega to your husband's room during his search?" He paused, then abruptly changed the subject. "What is it you want?" What did I want? I just wanted to live. If someone had asked me on Earth what my greatest wish was, it would have been to live. I was abandoned at the hospital by my parents at birth, sent to a nearby orphanage by a doctor. The conditions were poor. Beatings and scraps were commonplace. But I was grateful. At least I wasn't discarded as medical waste. When I was 5, for the orphanage director's birthday, my friend Mia and I stole a small piece of cake from the kitchen. We pretended it was our birthday too, and made wishes. Mia wished for a life filled with love. I wished to keep living. Of course, we were caught. I took all the blame and received a harsh beating. Mia cried her eyes out, saying she'd give her wish to me. I thought I didn't need it, but I thanked her anyway, afraid she'd wipe her nose on my sleeve. At 7, I was adopted by a couple who couldn't have children. For 2 years, I was happy. I even went to school for the first time. When I was 9, they had a son of their own. I was abandoned again. My adoptive parents left me in a park near the orphanage and never came back. After waiting for 2 days, I understood. I stumbled back to the orphanage, but they wouldn't take me back. No one wanted to adopt a 9-year-old girl. That's when I gave myself a new name, Alara. Like a river, ever flowing. I had to live. I lived on the streets for a long time. No one on Earth would hire a child. I did whatever it took to find food. Collecting bottles, digging through trash, even fighting stray dogs for scraps. When I was 10, the few coins I had hidden in a brick wall disappeared. I was starving. I finally reached for a woman's cloth bag. I had seen the old woman buy a bag of buns. I knew where she lived. I swore to myself I would pay her back as soon as I collected more bottles. But I was clumsy. She caught me the moment my hand touched the bag. I braced for a slap, but instead, a wrinkled hand gently touched my dirty hair. "You poor little thing," she said. "Why are you all alone? Come home with me. Grandma will take care of you." And just like that, I had a home. I had a grandmother. She was childless, having run a small, dilapidated repair shop with her late husband. She never saw me as another mouth to feed. She called me her little lucky star, sent by the heavens to keep her from being lonely. She sent me to elementary school. After school, I'd rush back to the little shop and help her however I could. Over time, I learned a lot. She was happy I was interested, and would sit me on her lap and explain every part, every valve. But she'd also pretend to be angry, telling me I was smart and could learn anything. But I had to study hard to build trains and airplanes for her one day, not take over her little shop. I promised her 1,000 times. But on the 1,001st time, I broke my promise. In my final year of high school, Grandma got cancer. The hospital bills were astronomical. She told me to stop the treatments, that she needed to save her money for my education. For the first time in my life, I cried. I didn't cry when I was beaten at the orphanage, when my adoptive parents abandoned me, or when a dog bit me. But at my grandmother's bedside, I cried. I told her, word for word, that if she refused treatment, I would stop living too. The next day, I dropped out of school. My teachers tried to dissuade me, but when they learned the situation, they tearfully organized a fundraiser for me. I sold Grandma's house and lived in the repair shop. I ran the shop during the day, brought Grandma dinner at night, and worked as a delivery driver in the early morning. Grandma was a fighter. The doctors gave her 6 months. She held on for 3 years. Every cent I earned went straight to the hospital. I kept only my school uniform, which I wore every time I visited her, to pretend I was still in school. Before she passed, she held my hand tightly. "I want to see you build an airplane," she whispered. I knew she was afraid I would give up on life after she was gone, so I nodded and promised. "I'm sorry, Grandma. A high school dropout could never achieve that." "Go back to school, Alara," she said. "Or don't. Do whatever you want. I just want you to be happy. That's my last wish. Please just live. Live for yourself." I froze. She held my hand, tears tracing paths down her wrinkled cheeks onto the white hospital sheet. "Alara, why would a college student still be wearing a high school uniform?" Grandma was gone. I cried at her bedside all afternoon, as if trying to shed a lifetime of tears. As Liam cuffed my hands and took me back to District 1, I prayed that this world and earth were not connected, that my grandmother's spirit couldn't see my pathetic state, couldn't know I had sold myself for money. I wasn't afraid of her disappointment, only her heartache. Liam was silent the entire journey back. He brought me before Elias and Julian Sterling, who were trembling uncontrollably. I didn't know what Liam had done to them, but their usual air of entitlement was gone. The moment they saw Liam, they dropped to their knees. "You are my wife," Liam said, his voice dangerously low. That was the only reason I showed the Sterling family any courtesy. "But that does not mean you can scheme against me." I saw faint lash marks on Julian's neck and realized the situation was far more serious than I had anticipated. "Can your biological instincts even allow you to harm your Omega?" I challenged. I never marked him," Liam cut me off. "I didn't touch him. Are you disappointed?" I stared at him, bewildered. "How is that possible? Your pheromones have a 95% match." I asked him how he got through his search. Liam advanced on me, slowly rolling up his sleeves. The wounds on his arms were shocking. I shot myself in the arm. "I had my security detail tie me up in your room. I was given anesthetics. When they wore off, I became violent. In a moment of clarity, I had the doctors use a defibrillator on me. Finally, Dr. Chun came and injected me with an experimental suppressant. I was locked in there for 5 days, and I never marked another Omega. Alara Sterling, why do you think pheromones are so important?" I looked at the furious man before me, completely baffled. "Major General," I said, "the only reason you agreed to marry me 2 years ago was because of pheromones, wasn't it? Our marriage was a transaction, a tool to alleviate your search. Weren't those your exact words to me? Now that an Omega with a higher match has appeared, it's better for your physical stability. Shouldn't the tool be upgraded? I think Julian is very suitable." Julian, as if seizing a last chance, scrambled forward and clung to Liam's leg. "Major General, please, I'll be good. My pheromones are a 95% match. I'll do better than Alara." He looked at me, his eyes filled with hatred. "She isn't even a sterling. She's a monster. She was born without a gland." Liam kicked Julian away. "I don't care who you are," he said, his eyes red-rimmed, looking as if he wanted to tear me apart. "It's been 2 years. Do you not have even the slightest feeling for me?" He pulled a ring from his pocket. "Then why did you take our wedding ring? I don't believe you don't care about me." I was silent for a moment before speaking. "Liam, calm down. You know better than anyone that this was a transaction. If you're feeling unsettled now, it's probably because of the mark. You just need to have it washed or mark a new omega. I don't know." Liam grabbed my throat, a humorless, angry smile on his face. "So, 3 million CRS is all it takes to buy your loyalty to the Sterlings? The dress I bought you for your birthday cost more than that." I felt a wave of helplessness. That wasn't even my real birthday. It was a date the Sterlings made up. I reasoned with him that after 2 years we could at least part amicably. Amicably? Liam licked his back teeth. "You want money? I'll give you money. You want to go to school? I can get you into the best Imperial Academy in District 1 with a single word. I can give you anything you want. From now on, you will not take one step away from my side." That night, I saw a side of Liam I had never seen before, a wildness that made me suspect the experimental suppressant had only delayed his surge, not quelled it. But he never bit my gland. He buried his head against my chest, his voice muffled. "During my surge, I went to your room to build a nest with your clothes. I found your birth control pills. God, I hate you." I cried out as his teeth bit into my skin, but he only pressed closer. "Just stay by my side. I want to go to the Starforce Engineering University in District 4, I stated. Liam's grip on my thigh tightened. "If you like mechanics, I can arrange for you to attend the Federal Armament Academy in District 1. I stopped talking and instead softened my body, yielding to his demands. It would be a lie to say I felt nothing for him after 2 years. He was handsome and a skilled lover. Just looking at his face made a meal more enjoyable. So, if Liam had developed some possessiveness towards me under the influence of pheromones, I could understand it. But to me, it was all too ephemeral. My own parents had abandoned me. My adoptive parents of 2 years had discarded me without a second thought. I had seen with my own eyes how Alex had abandoned his wife for the cousin of Julian Sterling, who had a 90% pheromonal match with him. I didn't trust others, and I certainly didn't trust luck. If I ever had any, it was used up the day Grandma found me. I only trusted myself. So, when Liam's mood softened due to my compliance, and he later fell into a deep sleep in my bed, I made my move. The cuffs he used were easy to break. This time I was smarter. I disguised myself and went to District 6. A chaotic place like that was better for hiding. The redevelopment had improved conditions, but only to the extent that people no longer starved to death on the streets. I gave the owner of the old repair shop a sum of money and moved back into his dilapidated shack. During that time, I received my acceptance letter from Starforce Engineering University. I was so happy that day. I burned a lot of paper offerings for Grandma. But less than a week later, I was caught again. Liam cornered me against a wall, his eyes bloodshot. "You'd rather live in a place like this than stay by my side?" he asked, his voice strained. This place wasn't so bad. I actually liked the little shack. It felt like I was back in Grandma's repair shop. Liam's surveillance of me became suffocating. It was as if he wanted to chain me to him 24 hours a day. The power of ABO pheromones was terrifying, to be able to turn a proud, cold man like Liam into this desperate creature. When I heard his father was demanding a call with him, I reasonably suggested he could have the mark washed to help him calm down temporarily. Liam sneered. "What are you planning now? Trying to run again?" "No," I lied. "Not this time. After my first failed escape, I had planned several more, but each attempt only made him more vigilant. I had only succeeded twice, and both times he had quickly recaptured me. I needed to wait for the right moment. Before the start of the semester at Starforce Engineering University, the Akan Coalition, which had signed a treaty of surrender with the Federation, began to stir again. Remnant factions, allied with interstellar pirates, were causing trouble at the border. After much hesitation, Liam took me with him to the front, but confined me to the rear echelon base, far from the fighting. The night before he left for the final assault, I had just helped him through his surge. He told me the Akan remnants were on the verge of collapse and that they planned to annihilate them the next day. He said he had a gift for me when he returned, something he had prepared a long time ago. As I listened, my mind was already plotting my escape for the next day. School started next week. Once I was enrolled in the university's closed campus, even Liam wouldn't be able to reach me without causing a major scandal for the Vance family. But just as I dismantled the tracking bracelet on my wrist, I heard the sound of explosions. Several guards burst in, saying they had to escort me to an emergency evacuation point. I looked past them at the frantic scramble of Federation medics outside and knew something was wrong. "Where is Liam?" I demanded. One of the guards, his eyes filled with panic, urged me to go with them, saying it was the Major General's direct order. "Where is Liam right now?" I repeated, my voice cold. "If you want to waste time here, then keep evading the question." Another guard, gritting his teeth, finally told me the truth. The Major General's mech was sabotaged. He's barely holding on at the front line. The Akan forces are about to break through to the base. "Ma'am, we have to retreat." "It's his order." "Please, ma'am, let's go," another pleaded. "The General's last transmission was an order for us to ensure your safe retreat. You can't let him die with regrets." "D? Who would die?" Liam's face was made for expressions of disdainful superiority. How could he possibly die? On Earth, Grandma had given me a home. Here, Liam had briefly given me one. I could not let him die. My mind went blank for a second. Then I dug my nails into my palm, forcing myself to stay clear-headed. "Get me a mech. I'm going to the front line." Amidst the soldiers' stunned silence, my voice was unnaturally calm. "I'm not some lovesick Omega going to find her husband. I can fix mechs. I'm going to bring Liam back." I piloted a small medical mech from the base toward the front. I really could fix mechs. Ever since I repaired Alex's civilian mech in District 6, I had developed a deep fascination with them. Their function and form were new, but their underlying mechanics were the same as the machines on Earth. I had devoured books on the subject and corresponded with like-minded people on mech forums. That's how I met Professor Chun from Starforce Engineering University online. She invited me to study at the top mechanical engineering program in the Federation, even offering to help me get a scholarship. I also had Liam to thank. The Vance family probably owned more civilian mechs than anyone in the Federation, and he never cared what I did with them. Tinkering, modifying, it was all just his Omega wife's little hobby. Like other Omega wives enjoyed baking cakes or buying clothes. The battlefield was a storm of plasma fire. By the time I reached the front, the medical mech had already taken several hits. Thankfully, its small size made it more agile. I saw a familiar black and gold mech lying on the ground. It was Liam's, the hunter. Amidst the yellow dust, the area around his mech was strangely empty. I looked closer and saw it. A faint red glow emanated from the hunter. Liam had activated the self-destruct sequence. When I climbed into the hunter's cockpit, I found Liam covered in wounds, bleeding all over the pilot's chair. He stared at me for a moment. Am I hallucinating? I ignored him. Give me authorization to the mech. What are you doing here? Who let you come? Liam grabbed my hand, his teeth clenched. Go. I had no time to argue. I was about to forcibly bypass the system when my hand touched the control panel. The console flashed blue. The hunter had already registered my authorization. He struggled to sit up. You came in a mech, right? Get back in your cockpit now. I've activated the self-destruct. Can provide you with some cover. Once the hunter explodes, I cut him off, looking directly into his dark eyes. Are you willing to trust me, just this once? After a long moment, Liam slowly nodded. The hunter's display was half dark, and the power system was failing. It had definitely been sabotaged. This was difficult, dangerous. The self-destruct sequence would initiate in 1 minute. If I couldn't fix the problem by then, we would both die. 60. 59. I fought to keep my hands from shaking as I pried open the engine housing with the tools from my kit. Why did you come for me? Don't you know you could die? 42. 41. The engine was leaking oil everywhere, smearing my hands and face. I hate you so much, he ground out. You couldn't even let me die in peace. 28. 27. Liam fastened his survival bracelet onto my wrist. At the last moment, I'll put you in the escape pod and launch it. Don't be afraid. Get back to your own mech immediately. After you get back, study hard. I know you got into Star Force. You're brilliant. 15. 14. I desperately tried to recall everything Grandma had taught me. She used to say that sometimes a major problem comes from a tiny, overlooked flaw. I'm sorry. 10. 9. I couldn't find it. Were we really going to die here? Liam pushed me into the safety seat, but he didn't know I had already disabled its launch program. Without the hunter's combat capabilities, escaping the front line in a small medical mech was a fool's errand. From the beginning, I had left myself no other choice. 5. 4. 3. Liam slid something hard onto my ring finger. I love you. 2. 1. Found it. Just as the countdown was about to hit 0, I found a breach on the side of the engine and plugged it with a piece of malleable sealant. Just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, I saw the dark muzzle of a rifle through the mech's shattered window, aimed at Liam. My mind went blank. I threw myself in front of him. The last thing I heard before darkness consumed me was Liam's heart-wrenching scream. My body felt both light and heavy. I couldn't open my eyes, only vaguely hear someone calling my name. Alara. Alara. Alara Sterling. I thought I saw my grandmother's face, but she looked unhappy to see me. You still haven't built me an airplane, she said. I jolted, and her image vanished. It felt like someone had buried their face in my palm. I heard Liam's voice. He was begging me, please, Alara. If you wake up, I'll agree to anything you want. I struggled to open my eyes. I saw Liam much thinner than before. His features seemed sharper, his entire being consumed by grief. Really? Liam shot up, knocking over a nearby vase. Get a doctor. Now. He roared at the door, then looked back at me, his expression gentle. Don't go back to sleep. Please, just wait for the doctor. Okay? It won't be long. You said I could do anything. Do you still mean it? Of course. As long as you don't go to sleep again. Liam held my hand. The doctors say you need to be conscious for the surgery. After the surgery, you can do whatever you want. I want to go to school. Starforce Engineering University just started its semester a week ago. I've already bought all your textbooks and had them sent to the house. During the surgery, I continued, have them remove my gland too. I never had one to begin with. You must have investigated. Liam's hand trembled, a deep shadow falling over his eyes. I tried to muster some strength to pat his hand reassuringly. Let's get a divorce. His hand began to shake violently, and a single tear fell from his eye, landing on my arm. Just before I was wheeled into the operating room, Liam knelt beside my gurney. Did you ever, even for a moment, love me? He asked. Then why did you save me? I couldn't say I felt nothing for him, but our beginning was too sordid. And more importantly, I said, where I come from, there are no alphas or omegas. I tried to brush his hair back, but only had the strength to touch his cheek. People come together for no other reason than love. And still, many, many people remain single their entire lives because they have other things they want to do. Their own things. For years later, I received a text from Professor Chen. She had good news and wanted me to meet her at the university's mech lab. Professor Chen was the one who had found me on the forums and recommended me for Starforce. She was a forthright female alpha, a graduate of the prestigious Federal Armament Academy who had insisted on returning to her home in District 4 to teach. In 10 years, leveraging the district's powerful industrial base, she had built Starforce Mechanical Engineering Department into the best in the Federation. On my workstation sat a meticulously prepared meal and a bouquet of vibrant red roses. Professor Chen winked at me. Your ex is persistent. He's single-handedly feeding our entire lab. I flushed, unsure how to respond. Since my divorce from Liam 4 years ago, he had never appeared before me again. Well, not exactly. Sometimes, I would catch a glimpse of a familiar figure in the distance. He quietly sent me food and flowers, never leaving a name. When his official duties were not too demanding, he even took on an honorary professorship at Starforce, giving a few lectures on practical mech combat that caused students from District 1 to pay exorbitant prices for a spot. He was, after all, the Federation's war god, now General Vance. 4 years ago, he had wiped out the Akan remnants and purged the spies within the Federation. He had not known a single defeat since. His reputation was immense. Even as a divorced man, he consistently topped the Federation's Dream Alpha polls. The tabloids claimed he was still devoted to his ex-wife, wearing his old wedding ring at all public events. I had nothing to say about it. I had texted Liam, asking him to stop sending things, but he never replied, committed to his role as a transparent benefactor. He knew I wouldn't waste food, so I wouldn't throw his gifts away. The only time my workstation was empty for a full month was when news channels ran looped broadcasts about General Vance leading troops deep into rebel territory, his fate unknown. That time, he did reply to my text. Returned to District 1. All safe. The exquisite meals and roses reappeared on my desk the next day. Over time, everyone in the lab knew I had a rich, persistent ex-husband who couldn't let go, though they didn't know who he was. Professor Chen often teased me about it. I'm an alpha too, she'd say. You should just get with me. We'd be a power couple. That would make your ex give up for good. I rubbed my temples. Professor, please don't joke. What did you want to see me about? Professor Chen's expression turned serious, but her eyes shone with pride and affection. Your Lian High-Altitude Combat Mech project has been officially approved by the Federation. Next year, you will be the project lead, and development will begin. She smiled. And next week, Alara Sterling will be representing our Mechanical Engineering Department as the outstanding graduate speaker at the Starforce Engineering University commencement ceremony. During my graduation speech, I saw Liam sitting in the guest section as a special military representative. His eyes sparkled, fixed on me without blinking. Honor and bloodshed had made him more composed, his features sharper. But his eyes were still the same as when we first met. I tried to avoid his gaze, but the glint of the ring on his hand caught my eye. That was the only time he appeared before me. After that, he went back to being my persistent, invisible ex-husband. I threw myself into the Lian High-Altitude Combat Mech project, practically living in the lab. Professor Chen warned me that this was a military project, and safety was the top priority. I was cautious, but I couldn't prevent the inevitable. The lab caught fire. It was arson. The automatic fire suppression system failed to activate. The safety alarms and surveillance systems were dead. In the thick smoke, I covered my mouth and nose and tried to open the lab's heavy metal door, only to find it had been locked from the outside. I slammed against it a few times and thought I heard shouting outside, but it was too late. I was in the deepest part of the lab, surrounded by flames. By the time they extinguished the fire from the outside, I would be nothing but ash. I sat on the floor, my mind drifting back to the day my adoptive parents abandoned me. Just as I was about to close my eyes, a figure burst through the metal door. I saw the familiar face, and my heart clenched. He swept me into his arms, pressing my head tightly against his chest. "The fire is raging outside. You'll be burned to death running in like this," I choked out. Liam covered my eyes, his voice gentle. "It's okay, Alara. Don't look. We'll be out soon. My clothes are soaked with water. It's fine." The flames leaped around us. I could smell burning flesh, but Liam shielded me so completely that not even the hem of my clothes was singed. The moment we were clear, I saw him pushing me towards an ambulance. His back was a mess of black and red, a testament to severe burns. "I'm fine. Save Liam," I screamed. In the ambulance, Liam was on the verge of passing out from the pain, but he insisted on talking to me. He took my hand and guided it to the back of his neck. I felt a large, jagged scar. "I had my gland removed 4 years ago," he gasped. "But I found that even without the influence of pheromones, I still love you." "Are you insane?" I was furious, wanting to hit him. I didn't have one to begin with. Why would an alpha like you cut yours out? Without a gland, your recovery will be slower. And you dared to run into a fire? You're sick. These past few years, I was so afraid you would forget me, he whispered. I've been trying so hard not to be selfish. I'm trying to change. But maybe I'm still selfish. If I really die this time, please, forget me. Shut up, I snapped, my breathing ragged. Don't jinx yourself. A menace like you, General Vance, will live 1,000 years. If you dare to die, I'll marry someone else immediately. And I'll curse you at your grave every single day. I'm so sorry, Alara, he said, his voice weak. I was wrong before. I did so many things wrong. I shouldn't have treated our marriage as a transaction. I shouldn't have ignored your dreams and your career. I shouldn't have been so oblivious to how people treated you. And most of all, I shouldn't have been afraid to admit that I had fallen in love with you, and even more afraid to tell you. He managed a weak smile, which pulled at the wounds on his back, making him hiss in pain. His eyes were bright, his expression earnest. If I'm lucky enough to survive this, can you give me a chance to pursue you again? Liam survived, but the scars on his back would never fade. He thought they were ugly and didn't want me to see them, but I would often gently trace them with my fingers when we were in bed. The pressure of research was immense, and in a moment of weakness, I fell back into bed with my ex-husband. But Liam still insisted he was pursuing me. 2 years later, the Lian High-Altitude Combat Mech project was completed. On the day of the test flight, both Liam and I were there. The plaque in front of me read Chief Project Engineer. In front of him, it read General of the Federation Military. Under the table, he squeezed my hand, seemingly more nervous than I was. The moment the mech successfully took to the sky, I leaned in and whispered in his ear. My grandmother's name was Leanne. Everything I first learned about mechanics, she taught me. I wanted to buy her a nice burial plot, so I worked 3 jobs a day. I was hit by a truck while delivering food, and then I came to this world. Liam's breathing stopped, his hand trembling uncontrollably. I brushed my lips against his ear, comforting him. I set up a memorial for her behind the base. Would you like to go see her with me tomorrow? At my grandmother's grave, Liam proposed. And so I came to have 3 rings on my hand. One was the ring Elias Sterling had me buy, a symbol of our transactional beginning, a deal made for pheromones. One was the ring Liam slipped on my finger in The Hunter, in a moment between life and death. And now this one. The glandless Liam held up the ring, his voice shaking as he told me he loved me. As I put on the ring, I suddenly thought of my friend Mia from the orphanage. The wish she had given me and Alara's own wish. It seemed they had all come true.